Woody Womack joined by Chad Simmons. Chad, huge news today as Georgia gets its quarterback for the 2022 class, Gunner Stockton. They missed him the first time. Door opened with the South Carolina coaching change, and now they got him. How big is this one for the Dogs?
It's big. Kirby Smart, Todd Monken, and that staff in Athens stayed with Stockton and remained patient. They offered a couple other quarterbacks for sure in 2022, but they made it clear to Gunner early in the process he was their top target, and they stayed with the communication and consistency, even though he was committed to South Carolina. They gave him some space, of course, but anytime he wanted to speak or if they wanted to send him some graphics or whatnot, that they were showing him attention still at their own pace while he's committed to South Carolina. But landing for the second year in a row, the top quarterback in Georgia is big for Kirby Smart.
Yeah, and it's just crazy how it happened because everyone assumed he's going to follow Mike Bobo to Auburn, and it didn't end up happening. How did Georgia kind of make up that ground? Because I think even you sort of thought he was headed to Auburn maybe a week ago or so.
Yeah, I think anyone probably just the initial guess. You put it all into context where he committed to South Carolina over Georgia the first time back in August. Bobo was there, of course, off the field coach. Connor Shaw has connection to that family. He plays for Connor's brother Jabo in high school. He's worked with Mike Bobo's father since he was like 5 years old, working with quarterback drills and his quarterback coach. I mean, he doesn't call Mike Bobo Coach Bobo. Gunner calls him Mike. That's how close they are. So just the timing also. So Bobo leaves Carolina, goes to Auburn. A couple days later, Gunner reopens his recruitment. Now, what I found out since that time is that he did think about reopening things before Muschamp, before all that even happened. He was having some thoughts about that and just some maybe second guessing his decision. Was it too early? Even the wrong school. So the timing definitely made people think with Bobo, that connection going to Auburn, that Auburn was the favorite. And maybe they were at that time, but just since that time, Todd Monken, I think, deserves a lot of credit. Just the relationship, what he's done in the NFL, what he showed Gunner and even Georgia fans with JT Daniels playing the offensive potential on the back end of the season at Georgia. And I think, Gunner's never been to Auburn. He can talk about that connection with Bobo all he wants and how he feels with that family. He's talked to Brian Harsin a lot as well, the new head coach at Auburn. He liked him also. But he's been to Georgia double-digit times. He's known players that played there. A former teammate of his is there now as a walk-on. He's very comfortable with that staff at Georgia, and I think that played a big role in the end.
You mentioned, they got Brock Vandegrift, five-star, coming in the class of 2021. Gunner coming right behind him. We have to assume Daniels will be off to the draft. And those two are going to compete, right? That should be the way that this projects in 2022.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I talked to Gunner about this decision and going to play with a guy like Brock. And those guys are very similar, man. Country boys, outdoors, but they want to hunt, they want to fish, a lot like Jake Fromm, personality-wise. And it's going to be fun to watch those guys probably become best friends off the field, but enemies and competitors, between the lines every day at practice. So I think Gunner will definitely, push Brock. I do think Brock will play as a true freshman to get some of that experience behind JT Daniels. It'll be fun to watch for sure in the years to come between Stockton and Vandergrift competing between the hedges.